they were destroyed, assuming that Arjuna was going to destroy them, what kind of happiness would he possibly have? He had to live with the thought that he had destroyed those he revered the most, those from whom he had learned all that he knew. How can I send arrow for how can I send an arrow for arrow against them? He asked Krishna. Even if Krishna had argued that Bhishma and Drona did not seem to have the same concern for him, Arjuna did not feel that he was in a position to make any such judgment. Their choosing to fight against him may have been wrong, but at the same time, they no doubt had their own logic for doing so. Because of his respect and reverence for these two stalwarts, Arjuna did not feel that he had the right to say anything about their decision to support Duryodhana. The point he was making to Krishna was that he himself could not sin by exchanging arrows with them. He would rather die than draw the arrow that would destroy Drona and Bhishma, his teachers. He therefore told Krishna that Arjuna, did not know the meaning of fear, as well as Arjuna, did not know the meaning of fear, as was very well known to Krishna. A brave man can be sympathetic, but a coward who is sympathetic has a problem because the sympathy ends in distress. This kind of sympathy is of no use, whereas when a resourceful, courageous, skillful person is sympathetic, the sympathy can be useful for the other person. A brave man should be sympathetic. So too, a rich man should be magnanimous and a knowledgeable man humble. Knowledge and humility, money and magnanimity, power and justice, and strength and gentleness, these go together. A person having only one of these attributes, such as power or strength, without the justice or gentleness that goes with it, is capable of destroying others. Arjuna was a brave man, a courageous man, and a mature person. A mature person can be sympathetic. A problem arises. However, when there is confusion, Arjuna's confusion was that of a mature person. Vedanta cannot be taught to an immature person. Instead, he or she can be taught something else, something that will resolve a particular problem. A mature person can be taught Vedanta, thereby solving the problem more fundamentally. This is where the Gita comes in, as we will see. Arjuna presented his case beautifully. Krishna destroyed demons and enemies, but here, those who were to be destroyed were Arjuna's teachers and relatives. Drona was a teacher who was not against Arjuna in any way. The only problem was that he was obliged to Duryodhana because of all the help he had received from him. Bhishma was also obliged for the same reason. This did not mean, however, that they were against Arjuna. Perceiving this particular situation properly, Arjuna told Krishna, destroying demons and enemies as you have done is right, but destroying one's teachers is not right. It was fine that Krishna was known as the destroyer of demons, Madhusudana. However, Arjuna definitely did not want to be known as a destroyer of teachers, Guru Sudana. Therefore, in the next verse, he said that it will be better for him to live on alms than to kill his gurus. Okay, can someone please read the shloka?
So, Maji, can we have some Manana on the previous shloka?
Okay.
The sympathy part, like just the last two to three paragraphs, no? Rest is, I think, it's like the sympathy a mature person has the sympathy.
Yeah, the sympathy a mature person will help others, whereas the sympathy of an immature person will result in distress. And Arjuna here is a mature person. He uh, he knows that Drona and Bhishma are not against him. They were obliged to Arjuna for whatever help they have received, and therefore they have joined Duryodhana. Arjuna knows that, and he said he is not in a position to judge their choice. But what he should do as their student is not to harm them. And that is what is right according to him. And he does not want to be known as Guru Sudana. Though he told Krishna, you only kill demons and all those people, bad people, but I have to kill my teachers. So I don't want to be known as Guru Sudana. No, I'm not running away from battle because I'm afraid of fighting, but I don't want to commit a sin. And then Swamiji says, no, the opposites. This is so beautiful that a brave man should be sympathetic. So too a rich man should be magnanimous, and a knowledgeable, humble. So this is the sign of a mature person, sympathy of a mature person. Knowledge and humility, money and magnanimity, power and justice, and strength and gentleness. These go together. So these are the signs of a mature person.
Yeah, Chaitanya. Sumaji, can you just take a shot of that and post it in the WhatsApp group?
Okay.
These combinations.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that after the session, or you want me to do now?
Either which ways.
Okay, I write it. Oh no, wait. I think I'll do that after the session. I don't know how to do this now. I'll do that after the session is over. When I was reading,
A coward person having sympathy, how will it call like it will make that situation end into distress? Is like he'll not be he doesn't know to which level that sympathy should be, or like giving some examples we can further like we can discuss. Sympathy of a coward person. Sympathy of a mature person, we understand that it is out of knowledge, and it is more of that compassion, that inner compassion is there for that person. And but a coward person showing sympathy, it would be superficial, I think.
yeah, because you're showing sympathy for the wrong reasons, isn't it? Say if you take an example of a mm, um, maybe a family where the father or mother, whoever is very is always angry and does some things which frightens the children. So in order to maintain peace in the family, the opposite, the spouse uh, is not courageous enough to confront that anger of that person, but tries to um, bring in peace by agreeing with whatever the situation is. So this sort of sympathy from a coward, it only creates distress for everybody, isn't it? It is not solving any problem. It is only creating more problem because the perpetrator of the crime is getting more uh,
Strength.
strength and advantage. Yeah.
Means if a son or anyone is on wrong path, and mother or father doesn't stop them or tell them or take his side, then he will do again and again the same thing, and ultimately the parents has to what they वो बोलेंगे ना,
Whole
पेरेंट्स को
family
भरना
suffers.
पड़ेगा बच्चों का पाप, ऐसे इस तरीके से पाप नहीं बोलेंगे, जो भी है गलती है वो पेरेंट्स को भुगतनी पड़ेगी फिर, that will terminate into distress only to the family. There will be so many disruptions and all like that. This is
Correct.
small example, yeah.
And the person who is doing the wrong thing is immature and ignorant, but has some, what do you say, asuric strength, that his anger or his behavior frightens everybody else, so they agree to go with that. So it creates distress for everybody and it does not solve the problem for anybody. So that is the sympathy of an immature person. See, strength and justice. Look at the politics. Strength and justice. There is no justice, no. It is the mighty wins always. So that again, it's an immature, agreeing to that is out of fear. That is an immature sympathy or support. I wouldn't say sympathy, support. Power and justice, strength and gentleness, sorry. Power and justice. When I was reading this, I was thinking of that opposite values are complementary. Gurudev says, we give very simple examples and people agree, and we also think we have cleared that point. But after reading this, I realized we have to give such thought-provoking examples. So then they can do manana on that. Otherwise, we are at a very, we're not that mature individuals, neither the teachers nor the participants. So we look at very normal examples like hot and cold and things like that. And we understand it intellectually and agree with it. But these examples make your mind question, make your mind think. Do you agree with that?
Here it is also written when means that power and strength is there, but other values are missing, then it will also be capable of destroying others. That other things means
Yes.
power is there, but power can make you others harm too. If there is no justice or gentleness, means that attributes goes together. That is rich as a rich man. That can you read that brave man can be sympathetic? That again that paragraph.
A brave can be sympathetic. A brave man can be sympathetic, but a coward who is sympathetic has a problem because the sympathy ends in distress. This kind of sympathy is of no use, whereas When a resourceful, courageous, skillful person is sympathetic, the sympathy can be useful to the other person also. A brave man should be sympathetic. So too, a rich man should be magnanimous, and a knowledgeable man humble. Knowledge and humility, money and magnanimity, power and justice, and strength and gentleness, these go together. A person having only one of these two attributes, such as power or strength, without the justice or gentleness that goes with it, is capable of destroying others. For me, Bangladesh only is coming to my mind. So much of destruction there, no? Just because of power and strength. There is no justice or gentleness. So it's destroying everybody there. That's just an example, but we can look at our own lives and we can see that. Say this money and magnanimity. How much ever you earn, Gurudev has said that 10% or 3% of your income you donate, so it protects your wealth. But there also, I don't know how many are following that. I am not, because it is never there on the top of my mind about being magnanimous. I'm always looking at, where, how can I get some more, isn't it? So we can look at our own lifestyle or our own decisions and look at that. Apply this knowledge. Shall I go forward?
Yes, Somaji.
Yeah, someone should read this. I tried practicing, but my tune and all is going out of whack. This is a different tune, right?
You scroll it down. It's like the shloka is above, I think, in
Okay.
its initial page.
Yeah. Is it clear now?
No, you read the shloka?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
read. Okay. Yeah. Gurunna hatva hi mahanubhavan. This is a different tune. I don't know how to.
Yeah, you are going right. Gurun hatva hi mahanubhavan. You start like this.
Yeah. You continue.
Gurun hatva hi mahanubhavan. Shreyo bhoktum bhikshamapi haloke. Hatvartha kamanstu guru niheva. Bhunjiye bhogan rudira pradikta.
Mahanubhavan, highly exalted. Gurun, teachers. Ahatva, not killing. Iha, here. Loke, in this world. Bhiksham, food collect. Bhiksham, Bhiksham, food collected from others by begging. Api, even. Bhoktum, to eat. Shreya, better. He, indeed. Tu, whereas. Gurun, teachers. Hatva, killing. Iha eva, here itself. Rudira pradigdhan, stained with blood. Artha haman, security and pleasure. Artha kaman, sorry. Artha kaman, security and pleasure. Bhogan, enjoyments. Bunjia, I would experience. So it would be better indeed to eat food collected from others here in this world than to kill these highly exalted teachers. Whereas if I kill them, the enjoyments of security and pleasure I would experience in this world will be stained with blood. Arjuna also looked upon his grandfather Bhishma as a guru because he had been taught by him as he grew up. Bhishma and Drona were not ordinary gurus of the world. They deserved the status of highly exalted people. In this verse, Arjuna told Krishna that it would be preferable to live on alms than to kill his own people. Vaikshya, meaning collecting food from others, something that only sadhus are entitled to do. Wow, see? Sadhus only are entitled to do bhiksha. We grew up seeing beggars, no? So what a wrong concept we got. So only sadhus are entitled to take bhiksha. They only take a little from each person so as not to be a liability on anyone. The whole process of Arjuna's thinking was changing. In fact, his mind had already gone to that way of life, to this way of life, rather than go to fighting the war. Arjuna knew that if he had left the battlefield, he would have to go to the forest. Previously, he had counted on this day to retrieve the kingdom, and he had been looking forward to it for a long time. He had gathered all the weapons he needed, but when the day came, he decided not to fight. What else was left for him to do but go to the forest and live a life of alms? He could not remain in the kingdom. Only from the distant mountain people could he hope to collect a little food on which to live. This was all that was open to him, and he was ready for it. He wanted it, in fact. Only two types of people can take bhiksha: students, brahmacharis, and renunciates, sadhus. Brahmacharis can take bhiksha because they are not earning members in the society. They leave home and go to the Gurukula to live with the teacher. Therefore, they are allowed to go for bhiksha if they have to. Sadhus or swamis are renunciates and they live on alms. Arjuna's mind had now turned in this direction. Because he was already a father and grandfather, Arjuna could not become a brahmachari. Therefore, all that was available to him was the life of a sadhu. This was what he wanted, and this was the basis for the only question he asked again and again in the Gita. Which is better of the two, Karma Yoga or Sannyasa? Why do you ask me to do karma when there is this other lifestyle? He asked this question in the 3rd chapter, again in the 5th chapter. Then perhaps because he was a little shy about asking it again, he asked some other questions in between. And then slowly he slipped it again in the 18th chapter in a different form. What is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa. Thus, Arjuna always kept the same thought in his mind. He wanted to be a sadhu, and all of his arguments were directed to this end. Although Bhishma and Drona had come to the battlefield not as teachers, but to cast their lot with Duryodhana for the sake of the kingdom, Arjuna's point was that if these people were destroyed, what kind of kingdom would he have? Any enjoyment he would experience would be soaked in the blood. He would be haunted by the sight of the blood of his teachers. Nothing would remove it from his mind, he was sure. The more one tries to remove a fixation, the more it becomes fixed. There is no way of removing it. If it could be removed, it would not be a fixation. Thus, Arjuna knew that the sight of Bhishma and Drona bleeding to death would be permanently imprinted in his mind. The fact would be so powerful that it would remain a fixation. Therefore, any pleasant experience he gathered would be sullied by the thought of having killed his own people. Any enjoyment he might have had would always be conditioned by the memory of the cost, the blood of Bhishma, Drona, and the others who were killed in the battle. Arjuna thus expressed his confusion in the next verse. Savitaji.
It is like the example of a very common example, no, about the don't think about the monkey and the mind will always think about that monkey. That fixation, mind is fixed. The last paragraph.
Yeah, his mind was fixed on this thought that he will be enjoying at the cost of the blood of his teachers, and he didn't want that memory.
Can you scroll down this thing? Last paragraph.
Actually, he wanted to become a sadhu, means he doesn't wanted to fight. Means he want to relinquish his that.
The more one tries to remove a fixation, the more it becomes fixed. The last,
This one, yeah. You want me to read it?
No, I was just like how the mind pattern of thinking is that from the object which you do not want to think, and if you just precisely say that do not think about this, the mind will go after that object only. An example, very common example gave of don't think about the monkey or anything like. So it is whatever you want, like your mind get fixed to fixed easily to that object which is which you say that you don't go after that, like suppose watching a serial, you willingly, if you say that I'll not watch this serial today, and but if somebody else will say you don't have to watch it, and then your mind would be dwelling in that episode only, what would be happening, like it is like the pattern of thinking which our mind has. So I was just like,
yeah, and Arjuna's
Whatever you
had,
resist, persist like that. Whatever you resist, that persists.
yeah, but here Arjuna's had a concept that if he wins the battle and enjoys the pleasure, it will be at the cost of the blood of his teachers. And he didn't want that to haunt him. He didn't want that. So that's why he wanted to run away out of compassion to become a sadhu, because only that is available to him. Though he had been preparing the whole time for all the war, collecting all the weapons and all that. But at that time of performance, he backs out. He's so lucky he had Krishna beside him, and we are so lucky we get this knowledge. You want to read the next verse?
You can say this is the normal tune, which you can say this is the different chanda. Okay. You want to try, Sumaji? You recite?
No. No, you please go ahead, because I will be breaking at the wrong place and all that. I'm learning the chanting, but they haven't taught us chapter 2. So let me first learn. It'll take me another 5-6 more months.
Jai Gurudev. Can you read that Bhiksha and Brahmachari and that paragraph again? Paragraph.
There are 2 types of people that can take bhiksha: student, brahmacharis, and renunciates, sadhus. Brahmachari can take bhiksha because they are not earning members in the society. They leave home, go to the Gurukula to live with a teacher. Therefore, they are allowed to go for bhiksha if they have to. Sadhus or swamis are renunciates and they live on alms. Arjuna's mind had now turned in this direction. Because he was already a father and grandfather, Arjuna could not become a brahmachari. Therefore, all that was available to him was the life of a sadhu. This is what he wanted, and this is the basis for his only question he asked again and again in the Gita. Which is better of the two, karma yoga or sannyasa? Why do you ask me to do karma when there is this other lifestyle? He asked this question in the 3rd chapter, again in the 5th chapter. Then perhaps because he was a little shy about asking it again, he asked some other questions in between, and then slowly he slipped it again in the 18th chapter in a different form. What is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa?
Thank you.
So much of ignorance was there in Arjuna, and so glad he got all those questions, and Krishna very patiently answered. So we are also getting it. And I am just thinking yesterday, the many more times we have to read this chapter 2 and chapter 18 again and again. And then only we should go to chapter 3, I thought.
Why was Arjuna not means his grandparents and parents were alive? That's why he was not able to take big. What was that sentence?
No, he is a father and a grandfather. He's a family man already. He's not a
That's why.
man.
He
He
cannot
has
become a brahmachari
uh,
then.
yeah, he has a son and grandson and all that. No, he has he has many children and grandchildren also. So he can't go to brahmachari. So the other option is sannyas. And he thought that is better than becoming a king after killing his teachers, because the kingdom he won is at the cost of the blood of his teachers. And that is something he cannot reconcile with. He cannot take it in his mind. So this concept he was stuck, that was so fixated in his mind that he was trying a escape route. And he found sannyasa.
In short,
So he
his
kept asking.
mind. In short, he was thinking a family man cannot become a brahmachari. But what we learn means brahmacharya, we have learned in Patanjali and all, Chareti, Charaveti, that I'm not remembering. But in Brahman, you move. So a family man can also do that. Let us see what.
But see, Arjuna here is ignorant. He didn't get Patanjali Yoga Sutra at that time. He got it.
Okay, thank you.
He got it later that he was able to let go of that fixation on the sannyasa, you see. Because our Krishna explained to him in Karma Yoga also you can be a sannyasi. So till that got cleared in his head, he was not letting go of this. I want to become a sannyasi, which is better. He was fixed on that. So in this time, at this situation, Arjuna, though a mature person, was ignorant of the wisdom. So that is why he very nicely he got all those questions, or maybe Krishna only put all those questions in his mind and he asked, and knowledge was brought forth. So we summon the chant the 6th verse, or should we stop here?
Yeah. न चेतद्वितयः कतरन्नो गरीयो यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्ते न यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्तेव स्थितः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः.
Naha, for us, Katarat, which of the two? Grahya, better. Etat, this. Nacha vidmaha, we do not know. Yadva, whether. Jayame, we should conquer. Yadiva, or. Na jayuhu, they should conquer us. Yan eva, indeed, whom, hatva, having slain. Na jiva, jivi samaha. Na jivi samaha, will not want to live. They, those, Dhritarashtra, sons of Dhritarashtra, Pramukhe, in front of us, Avastitaha, stand. And we do not know which of the two will be better for us, that we should conquer them or they should conquer us. The sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying whom, we will indeed not want to live. So the sons of Dhritarashtra stand facing us, after slaying whom we will indeed not want to live. So this is Arjuna, the ignorant Arjuna, still saying the same thing. We don't know which is better for us, whether to win or let them win. And even if we win by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, we will not want to live, he says. In this verse, Arjuna told Krishna that he did not know which was better, to win the battle against the enemies who were his own people, or to be defeated by them. Regardless of who was victorious, the problem would remain. To be victorious, Arjuna had to destroy all these people. He would have the pleasure of a kingdom, but he would be unable to enjoy them. For Arjuna, then the choice was meaningless, because Krishna was telling him to get up and fight. He was confused about how the victory could be good for him. If, on the other hand, Duryodhana won, the Pandavas would have to go to the forest and live a life of bhikshu. So anyway, we'll come to that. So although this lifestyle was odorous and there would be no enjoyments, Arjuna thought that it was definitely the better of the two alternatives. Because at this stage, Arjuna does not know about Kshatriya Dharma, Karma Yoga, all that. So he is talking like an ordinary person who's perceiving the situation. He said that the Pandavas did not want to live by destroying the sons of Dhritarashtra and those connected to them, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and so on, all of whom were standing in front of him on the battlefield. He called the war a no-win situation. It would be one big loss, and he had no interest in it. But Krishna told him that what he was thinking of doing was wrong. Therefore, Arjuna argued that whether it was wrong or right, the situation was such that he could not see anything good coming to him from fighting. Then he goes on to explain further. Shall we stop here? So this is that fixation of the mind. He is very fixed that killing the enemy is not going to bring any great victory. Even if I win the kingdom, I'll be miserable, remembering the blood through which I won this kingdom. If I lose, again I have to go to the forest and live like a bhikshu. So I better do that right away. So that was his fixation in the mind. And he couldn't understand why Krishna was asking him to get up and fight. So he thought he should explain more and more to Krishna about his understanding of the situation. So he puts forth all these arguments. Whether it is right or wrong, he said he could not see anything good coming to him from this fight, by fighting. So he was defending himself that he's not a coward, that he's a very mature way of thinking. That's why Krishna calls him Pandita, no? Oh, you're talking like a Pandita. Later on it comes, I think.
Can
And
we
then
give an
he gives-
example of a no-win situation in our lives? Like it is related to Arjuna here, but in our lives, when there is no-win situation.
all the arguments at home. That's what I came to my mind when you asked this question. The arguments I have with my children or with my husband or with my siblings, I realize everybody is fixed on their concept in their mind, including me. So in that argument, there is a no-win situation. Nobody wins. So of late, I have learned, I've not succeeded though, to keep quiet when there is a argument, because my concept is different and the other person's concept is different. So I started keeping quiet, though initially I used to tell my daughter, do this, that, etc. And then later I started listening to her, what is the concept in her mind. And then I was able to communicate, and of late she told me later on, yeah, initially when you told me it didn't make sense, but now I know what you said is right. So in that argument, neither she won nor I won. We lost time. That's all happened. But when I try to understand the concept from which she is speaking, she also educated me in the process because I was not thinking that way. So then it became a win-win situation. So
Yeah,
that's my
basically respecting others' view and not always thinking that I am right. we should be more receptive, and then that analytical part should also be there. But one should be receptive and first at least listen to what the other people's view is, and not force our own this thing.
Yes. Very
What
true.
do you want? Basically, when a person imposes one's view on the other without thinking of others like opinion or likings, then it becomes a situation in which nobody, like that situation becomes bad. Nobody wishes to uh,
They
you know
stop listening.
yeah, and then it stops listening, and then it becomes it makes the situation not congenial. People doesn't want to interact that way. They'll not interact. They'll say always it ends this way. So why to interact, and why to make that misery and miserable situation? So it is basically one should be receptive of others' opinion, and then uh, then it would be a healthy conversation. Basically,
Yeah.
we don't have to fight battles. We have to just respect and listen, and then decide, of course, what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah. And I also learned through the arguments with my daughter uh, that some things are not important. What you think is not important for the other person.
Yes, of
So why
course.
are you wasting your energy and time? You just listen and keep quiet and let them figure out whatever they want. She told me that, which I learned. Then the other thing is, uh, what was it? This my husband taught me. I forgot now.
We don't have
What
to
you
convince or prove our point. I think it is basically uh, whatever practical is happening, observing that the knowledge seeps in, basically, right? You don't have to say, you do this, you will get this.
yeah.
It is more practical. It should be more practical, then it is easy. You don't have to convince, you just have to uh, work upon yourself. Like, the disciplines are made at home. So it is like first you discipline yourself, and then this discipline will follow next. So basically, all what is this chapter is self knowledge. So we have to be knowledgeable ourselves and make ourselves more with the help of our intellect to improve our own self.
So far,
More,
what I got is the way we think is the problem because we are fixed in our thinking. So we are not able to move an inch nor convince others or get convinced. So we have to look at our own thinking pattern.
And also, they don't like Bhashan, the modern generation people. Or they say they cut the crap, just come to the point. Like, they're very matter of fact, different.
Yeah.
and this is how that generation changing happen. It is like every generation, at the interval of 5 years, there's a lot of change in the generation. So each generation having different, they have own their opinions, and their way of thinking, doing is different. So I think we should be receptive to that also, and we should then make changes in our own attitudes while dealing with them. Like I have two sons, both like they're 6 years apart, and there is a generation gap in them. both behave differently. So what I feel is that generation gap initially was 10-20 years of like from what we see from our mother and ourselves, there's a gap, there's a difference. And now what we see in children, in between children, there is a gap. Like 5 to 6 years, the thought process has changed. This is what I uh, see, and
Gap is only 5 years now, or even less.
yeah,
It's becoming
yeah.
less and less.
Initially,
And
it wasn't that. Yeah.
another thing, the life experiences each one has changes them.
Yes.
So that we have some life experience and we know that this is good or bad, but they don't have that like life experience, so they're not yet ready to accept what you're saying. So that is that immaturity, that level is there. So we have to become very skillful. Karmashu kaushala. Then only we can, or surrender. I have taken surrender, easy path. Like Arjuna wanted sannyas. Easy path, surrender.
Surrender is the most
Otherwise, so
difficult
much
part,
time and energy is wasted. And then that vairagya also comes. Shall we stop here?
Yes.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Accept those parts of the body where you feel a tension. The other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open it.
Jai Gurudev.